Hold.
There we go. You have volume off there for a little bit.
Okay.
So, how are we doing here? Good to see you again. Good to be back. Can I just, I'm disjointed all of a sudden here. I got up this morning and I didn't tell you this, that I got a little a weather banner on my phone, little notification banners that come up. And it told me that had the day's weather, that it would be plentiful sunshine and a high of 79. And I realized that it was from Florida because the high here was actually the high here was 38. What's the problem?
Problem to me is, why is that picture up and not what's on there? Or is it me? I'm sorry, I'm technical.
She's technically challenged.
But see what I'm saying?
Well, I told you.
Okay.
Technically challenged. So it was not a high of 79. It was a high of 38, half of that. I was fine all day until I took a nap. I took a nice 3-mile walk. I came home. I took a nap, just a 20-minute nap, and I woke up and I thought, oh my God, it's so cold.
He's a baby.
So nice to be with you. We have, I think, 5 marks as we mark our journey this week. I think there's 5 marks that along the way. Since we were on the road, some of them are different than usual.
Mm-hmm.
We were on the road parts of 4 days, so
yeah.
But I wanted to start out with something. I saw this week, and I thought this would be fun, something fun to do here, and a way for you to be a little more active. Whether you're seeing this live or no matter when this comes across, you can participate in this, because Susan and I will continue to be active in answering any kind of comment that comes in. But I want to play 2 truths and a lie, and most of you know how this works. I'm going to read off 3 things. 2 of them will be true, and 1 of them will be a lie. And in the comments below, you can write down which one you think is the lie. So, number 1, these are about the love of my life, Susan. Number 1, at one point in her life, Susan rode a bike to work every day. Could be true, could be false. Number 2, Susan has a degree in floral design. Could be true, could be false. Back in the day, Susan sang Stevie Nicks songs in a Fleetwood Mac cover band back in the 70s. So, 2 truths and a lie. You can comment below what you think is the lie.
You think you should read them one more time? You think you got it?
Oh boy. Number 1, for those of you who are slow on the uptake.
I would need it twice.
At one point in her life, Susan rode a bike to work every day. Number 2, Susan has a degree in floral design. Number 3, back in the day, 70s, Susan sang Stevie Nicks songs in a Fleetwood Mac cover band.
Okay.
So our first mark this week, as we mark our week, the first one was something entitled Shooting Stars. And basically the way nature can surprise us at any moment with something we're not expecting. I was at my normal Bible study. Susan meets the couple that host this particular Bible study. It's a men's Bible study, and after a month or so of me going, Susan befriended his wife, and 2 of them are like thicker than thieves at this point.
Like twins.
And I thought of Psalm 8, verse 3, and you can respond whether this feels like it ties in with what you guys experienced.
Yeah.
The heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. That's from Psalm 19:1. And then also in Psalm 8:3, when I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars that you set in place.
I have a girlfriend, well, the girl who I was speaking about, who probably loves Karen, who probably loves the moon, the stars, the sky, sunsets, exactly how much I do. We both just love it. So a lot of times on Tuesdays, we'll go over to her condo. She has a beach condo, and we'll just sit there and watch the skies, either the moon or the stars. So she told me the night before she was sitting there and like looking around, and it was like the night that shooting stars or meteorites were supposed to happen. She said she sat out there for like 3 hours and there was like nothing. So we went and we're just sitting there, and she's like, we were just going to stop there and then go back home and do like soul collage. But then we decided it was so beautiful, we just stayed there. So we're sitting there, and I saw a shooting star. She saw it too. We both saw the same one, and I saw four. I saw four that night, which was amazing. She saw two of them. She was with me, but she didn't notice the other two. But I saw 4 shooting stars in one night. I love nature, and I just love that God created nature, because
Created nature.
well, I just love that it just makes me love him so much with divine beauty. It thrills me. I just love it. So, be able to see 4 shooting stars in one night, whew, boy, did I give him all the glory and praise.
I thought the ironic part for me was that Susan was going over that night to do a soul collage, a rather deep spiritual, meditative type of piece. And Karen was the one that said, maybe not, and talked her into going to this thing. And then when it was over, Karen was ready to go back and do this soul collage, and Susan was kind of like, nah, I don't know, we should just stay here.
Well, actually,
so
what happened,
flipped
we went
completely, which was great.
But the weird thing about it was we went because it was going to be a launch, and she really wanted me to see a launch.
That's right.
From like,
it's a rocket launch.
I think it's like she's on the 6th floor up. She said it was just so beautiful, and she's closer to Cape Canaveral, and it was like, I've never seen a launch so beautiful, and it was night. So that started it, and then the shooting star. So it was a really good night. So yes, all glory in God, and definitely when the heavens declare the glory of God, yes, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. He's such an artist. He's like amazing. It's nothing. It's just sheer perfection. And yes, that's true. When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon, the stars that you have set in place, I'm just so grateful.
I think nature in general is like a lot of things in life,
amazing.
A lot of blessings and grace that we receive that we take it for granted. We look out the window and we see things, and unless there's like a shooting star going by, we don't appreciate the expanse, just how big it is, and the moon set in its place and the stars twinkling. It's pretty cool.
How would you not believe in a creator?
Second mark on our marking our journey this week was something called wearing compassion. And I woke up. I went out Tuesday to go down to visit our post office to get our mail, and we have it's not. I guess he's under the guise of landscaper. He does the grounds. He's more of a caretaker, I guess is the right word. Yeah. And he does my surrounding neighbors are done by this gentleman. 3 out of the 4 that surround my home, and he basically is up in age and primarily does the work right before these people come back to town. So if they're away for 8 months, he'll do the spots that people can see, but the backs may be untouched. So it's the backs of my neighbors' yards that are always an issue for me if they're way overgrown. And there was one that was kind of out of hand. And he eventually got the note, and he took care of it. But right before we left, there was no space for me to get behind my shed, which is my property, and I need to take care of that myself. I do my own maintenance. So I mentioned casually, to set it up, he had an argument with someone else in the community who he had not done work like he was supposed to. And
That's usually
he
his
got
issue.
he got caught with that one too.
Yeah.
So I went out and I said, look, when you get a chance. Now he's a believer. He's got a pretty distressed life. It's not, he works really hard. And he's certainly at an advanced age, and he's not the healthiest guy on the block. But I had just mentioned it. All I was going to say was when you get a chance, you did such a great job over there at my neighbor's. But if you could just trim the bush back so I could get back behind my shed, because the bush is actually growing over my shed. And he freaked out. He freaked out, called me a crybaby.
I'm a crybaby. You see the guy who was here before? He's a crybaby too.
and all I did, fortunately, we had just read the scripture, even as part of my devotions in the morning, to put on compassion, to actually wear compassion. We put it on. It's from Colossians, right? That we should. And that's all I could think of was put on compassion. So I went. I said to him, "You're my brother in Christ. I'm not upset. I'm not crying." All I came out and said was, "When you get I know you're busy, but when you have the opportunity, if you would clear that out for me." And he just totally freaked out. And I said, "Well, I'm going to be praying for you, and I want God to bless your day. I want this to be a beautiful day." And I walked away, and it was probably a half hour to 45 minutes later. I was kind of 3/4 of the way through my walk when I heard his golf cart come up behind me.
He actually came looking for Ed, yeah.
Yeah, he had stopped and asked Susan where I was.
So where's that crybaby?
And he pulled up to me. No, this was so cool. I don't want to make fun of him here.
No, I don't either.
He came
I'm
up
making fun
here,
of you being a crybaby.
No. He came up in his cart and he said, would you forgive me?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I don't really need to. We're fine. I said, we're good. I said, we're brothers in Christ. He said, we had a Christian confrontation because there was no cussing going on. And I felt like, no, you're right. There was no cussing going on. And I felt that every once in a while when we do something, we're so bad at being Jesus. Let's start with that. We're so broken. We could never be Jesus. But when we try to do something that's Jesus-like, we never really know how it affects other people. And this was just a really cool moment that God allowed me to see just how in 30 minutes or so he turned 180 and felt so
30 minutes.
He felt so bad that he needed to find me, take time away from his work. He should have been cleaning that spot behind my shed.
But he was more worried about
But he wanted to make sure that I would forgive him, that I knew that he was asking for forgiveness and stuff. So it was really kind of a beautiful moment. And that verse I'm talking about is Colossians 3:12. Put on then as God's chosen ones, right? As a chosen one of God. That kind of gives me the chills. Holy and beloved, put on compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. And it's kind of a little bit on point for me because I just went through this last week at the event, the vendor thing, the satanic vendor thing. That I had the same type of experience. So I don't know. Maybe I'm growing up in my faith. I don't know.
Yeah. Arlene, yes, that's where I watched that rocket launch. She asked me if that's where I watched the launch. But Arlene is great. She's my personal rocket launcher.
Arlene is my aunt.
Yep, yeah, she is.
And when I say that she's
rocket girl,
my aunt, not the kind of aunt that an aunt that's just maybe 10 years older than me. So we're not talking like 40 years like the old aunt that painted her nails and sat in the corner in the rocking chair and had the kitty cat that bit my finger. Not that one.
She'll never be an old aunt.
So she's just a hippie like the rest of us that's still surviving. She's still marking her journey, and what I love is that even though when we're 1,000 miles apart like this, we can still mark our journey together here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Number 3 was to embrace your place. I say that to be happy where you are. Matthew 25:13 says, "Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour." And he's talking here about the second coming, when that's going to happen. But I think we don't know the day nor the hour when the opportunity comes to do something. And this falls in your court again, as we were leaving our hotel on I guess maybe Thursday morning.
We were leaving Florida
or Wednesday
to head north.
morning, and we were. I think we mentioned this before, that we're kind of on a first name basis with a lot of the help in these hotels, because we stay at the same Hilton's hotels, and people know us at this point, whether we're going north or south. As we were getting breakfast, before we ran out the door, kitchen help. I don't even know how that conversation started.
Actually, you're mixing this up a little bit. Thursday morning when we left, we had my small group was doing like a Christmas project, boxes for little kids, and I was able to stop in, and I just felt so good to see them before I left for a minute, because we had stopped down at the clubhouse, and I walked out to Ed and I said, "Wow!" I said, "It was really great to just be able to see them." I said, I have such good friends down here. Sometimes it's hard to have two places. It sounds really spoiled, but I used to be like, if I was there, I'd be thinking, "Oh, up here I'm missing that," or if I'm here, I'm missing it down there. And God really put the word in my head to be happy where I am and not where I'm not. And I really do embrace that. I really do embrace that. So that was part of that. And the other part was when we went to the hotel that we met this lady, where the help knows us.
This is 2 days later.
This is 2
now
days.
you're jumping ahead. But
Okay, I'm sorry,
there.
but
Go
that's
there.
where I
go,
was.
No,
Oh,
go there.
No.
Go there, because
Okay, I'm going
I brought it up.
Okay. He was just mixing the days up a little bit too. But I went in and I saw her there. She came and I said, "Hi, how are you?" And she said, "I said, remember me? She always talks about us both having like long hair, and we were the one. And it was the one that broke the coffee machine, even though we didn't. But that's how she remembers us by the coffee thing."
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. So I said to her, we were talking just for a moment, and I said something about enjoy Thanksgiving. She goes, "Oh, I'm going to go to my granddaughter's for the first time." She said, "But they told me here to leave my shirt if I'm going," which meant that she'd turn her shirt in because she may not have a job when she comes back. So that really just broke my heart, And I said to her, and then after I left, I just said, "If you're not here when I come back, I'm going to be so mad." She goes, "I'll be here. They can't do it without me." But yeah. So what was that with that?
Well, I my thought process was, we don't. It appeared that this thing happened late.
Yeah, I didn't know the whole story.
In this week, the week of Thanksgiving, or within 7 or 8 days, and the hotels on I-95. This particular place sits right on I-95, and it may just well be the busiest. The busiest couple days. So to have your kitchen help, the head person, not be able to be there, and it's very possible that if it happened if she was invited real late, that they don't have anybody else to call upon to come in and do the work. So
I don't know the whole story.
Them, the business. I understand the business. I felt really bad for her too, because it was a hard place for her. If this was not something obviously she did every year, it was a difficult place for her to have to make that decision. See what I did there? That for her was a true dilemma.
It was a true dilemma.
No. We stayed at the True Hotel.
Oh, that's so creative.
Then you missed it.
Oh, yeah, but we got mixed up. No,
she totally missed it.
No, because
it was called Losing Your Shirt, a True Dilemma.
but the other thing was about
But by having
Thursday,
decisions in context, that's the big thing. You know, I don't. There's a context there why they were doing that. I don't.
That's very creative, babe. That's really
but,
creative.
Yeah, don't kiss up now. It's too late. You missed it.
It's really creative.
I'm out earlier today. I'm out at Warby Parker because I've been wearing these Ben Franklin's spectacles for a couple weeks because right before we came down to Florida, right a month ago now, I had my last eye visit after my cataract surgery. They did the testing. They gave me a new script for glasses, but I didn't want to get them until we got north here, so they wouldn't get lost in the traveling up and down the coast. And I went in there today, and Susan was sitting at a counter, and I had handed in my script, and I was looking at lenses or glasses, and I picked up these glasses I thought were pretty cool, and I put them on, and I turned around, and I said, "What do you think of these?" And she said, "Oh, you look really good. I didn't know it was you."
I looked up and I was like,
it's a backhanded compliment. You look really good, but I didn't think it was you.
No, I looked up and I was like, oh, he's really cute. I would date him. No, they looked really good. And he just made me take a double look. So, you know, when you're with somebody every day, you don't take double looks, you know, but I took a double look.
I'm totally lost in my marks, but that's okay. Last thing, I think there's only one more thing here. Yeah, there is. One more thing, and then what we're watching.
Yeah.
So, on Friday this week, I don't know what led me to 2 Peter 1, verses 1 to 11. It might have been one of the, maybe it was Francis Chan in the car.
Probably.
But he was talking about the term or the I guess the statement that I used it a lot. Today's the first day of the rest of your life. For people that are in having a tough time.
Yeah.
It could be any of us on any given day. You're having a tough time. And you want to make a change, and you want to correct the lifestyle, which kind of ties into what we're watching actually. But he turned the phrase, and I love it, and I've been using it ever since. Instead of the first day of the rest of your life, the best day of your life.
Of the rest of your life.
To get up each day and to just, it's one more thing to add on to my morning routine of telling God that I love Him, to ask Him, what is it that you'd have me do today? And number 3, to thank Him because this is going to be the best day, the best spiritual day of my life. And I've been using that every day, and it's amazing. I will share that driving up 95 a few times, Susan, when the drivers had come up really fast on the right side, and the Dodgers going up and down, man, that irks her to no end. And I was
nice.
Because I was in that frame of mind, I stopped her and said, no, let's actually pray for him that whatever is causing him to be that stressed, it will calm him and, prayerfully not kill him or anybody else on the road, including us. And it's a long piece of scripture. I don't want to go through the whole thing, but it's 2 Peter 1, 1 to 11.
That's very spiritual number, 111. I like that.
And I guess there's nothing else on there I want to jump out with. So what we're watching, we're about ready to settle in on a series or two, episodic series on one of these, on Apple or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But so while we're on the road, we've just been grabbing movies at night, Netflix movies, to just kind of relax before we crash for bed. And we watched the other night in Virginia. We watched a movie called The Way Back. It's a Ben Affleck movie, and without no spoilers here. It is on Netflix right now. It's called The Way Back. Not that old, but he plays a high school basketball. Well, he was a very prominent high school basketball player back in the day, and without giving anything up, it's about how screwed up his life has become, and he's turned to alcohol, and it's actually the school that he played ball at needs a coach, and they hire him on. It's basically about how that kind of starts moving things around. For me, how God starts moving things around in his life. It's not. I mean, it sounds a little bit like a Hallmark movie. It's not. I don't. Susan likes those. She saw one a night or more before. That it's just too saccharine and just it wasn't believable for me. It wasn't believable for me, and I liked this one because if you're like me and you want to watch something that seems real, this was certainly one of the main themes here was redemption, and this particular guy, his name is Jack in here. It's not as much that he's seeking redemption; it's that it finds him through this invitation to coach, and his progress, the way that he moves through this, is real. It's uneven. He has really good moments, and some are really painful. But it's not like aha, I'm not going to drink anymore, and it's not. I thought it was portrayed really well that way.
It was sad,
and it also dealt with grief and loss, and I had written down here that it portrays grief honestly, and not as something that's solved. Grief isn't kind of solved, but it's something we learn to carry. It's something we learn to live with, and his relationship. The parallel between the way he's dealing with some grief and loss and the way his wife is grieving or moving through that same thing is a good storyline. And then lastly, as I said earlier, it's not like his life suddenly gets better. There's this imperfect grace that's involved, where he relapses and he makes mistakes and he stumbles his way toward hope. And in a way, I think we all do. If we look back far enough in our journey, we've made mistakes, we've had relapses with the way we live, and we've stumbled, but we're always stumbling toward hope.
But my thing with the movie, I wanted to just say was that you never know what people are going through. Actually, almost half of the movie, you don't really know. You have no idea why he's an alcoholic, why he drinks. Like, that was the coolest thing. You didn't really know at all until almost towards the end. And my thing is, like, gosh, you just never know what people are going through. You really don't. You could look at a person and thinking, like, wow, but you don't know. Like, we didn't know. We didn't know what he was going through until, like, towards the end of the movie, right?
Yeah, that's why it's a good movie.
Yeah, it was great. But that just made me think about that. Like, another thing about having compassion on people who are just not right at the time,
I didn't really know what my caretaker guy is, what his life is really like. I just know how hard and difficult it is. Sometimes we've discussed whether he's actually homeless or not. We don't know.
People said that he's homeless.
And the same with the woman that works for the True Hotel. We really don't know her background, her family's background. Just as we sit here and talk, we know virtually nothing about probably 99% of you. And there's another 10% that we know something about, and other than Arlene, I think we probably know so little about so many of you. Yet we're all on the journey together, and we're all trying to deal with these marks. We're just reflecting, right? Susan was blessed with being surprised by nature, right? I was blessed having an opportunity to wear compassion. It was better than last week. Last week I was so convicted by the ugliness that I had toward that street person. Embracing where we're at, we're all guilty, I think, of not appreciating grace at any given moment.
Your Aunt Arlene said that you're turning into a grumpy old man.
I have my moments.
She said, I'm still 29 with 50 years experience. That's the truth. She's always been 29. Terry Miller's with us too. Hi, Terry Miller.
Hey, Terry.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anybody on your, because you have a different page, don't you?
I have a different page, but I don't
Trying
have
to be
it.
more,
I don't have it up here at the moment.
more
so
active with you
let
all.
me, for some of you who may have joined us a little late, let me leave you with two truths and a lie. You can comment below which one you think is the lie again. Number one, at one point in her life, Susan rode a bike to work every day. That's either true or false. Number two, Susan has a degree in floral design. That would be true or false. And number three, back in the day, Susan sang Stevie Nicks songs in a Fleetwood Mac cover band.
So were they supposed to write down the lie?
One of those is not the truth, and
So
you can put that in the comment below, and we'll have some fun with responding to it. We'll probably let it 48 hours or so go by to give everybody a shot at putting their comments in. So if you don't get a response right away, we will respond to it.
Yes.
We will reveal it, but let's give most of the people check in much later than our live group here. So
Hope you're all ready for Thanksgiving. We went early this morning and we got everything we needed. We found out a couple days ago that it was going to be at our house instead of our daughter's because her oven is not working, or it's going to be about ready to blow up, right? A brand new oven. That's another story for another time. So we're ready for Thanksgiving and we have a lot to be grateful for, right?
yeah,
A lot
God
to be
bless you
grateful
all.
for.
Have a beautiful Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
For those who check in and hang out with me at Evensong, I will do something on Evensong Thanksgiving. I don't know what it'll be. It'll be live. It'll be up at 4 o'clock, and it certainly will be on for 30 days afterwards till Facebook gives it the cut. But I haven't quite figured out. Things change now that we're having it in our home.
Yeah.
So, but I will check in with everybody. God bless you all. And as always, we encourage you to journal, take a good look at your journey each week and where God's fingerprints are most prominent. And until we see you next week, pray on.
Enjoy your Monday.
Pray on.